fit, formidable, and fantastic.
Hey everyone, it's Cory McCarthy, and welcome to a new episode. I wanted to tackle something in this episode that vegans are guaranteed to get inundated with, which is resistance to our way of life, either solicited or unsolicited, in the form of usually poor, regurgitated arguments. The following are just 6 of the examples that I've commonly encountered on my channel, but they are by no means the only examples, so let's fire away.
Animal and insect lives are lost in the production of vegan foods.
There can be unfortunate side effects for anything in life, but that doesn't mean that we should just, toss our hands in the air like complacent cowards and say, fuck it.
Even the Vegan Society formal definition doesn't expect perfection, just that we make every intentional effort as humanly possible.
Crop farming can cause casualties, but do bear in mind, crops are also farmed to feed animals that are then exploited for milk or eggs, and are eventually slaughtered for meat. The meat and dairy industry causes far more death and uses far more land than that which is needed for vegan food production. In fact, the impact of vegetarianism is quantifiable.
Vegetarians alone save 404 lives annually. Beyond just the animal lives, new studies are showing that the meat industry is putting us on a fast track to environmental destruction. Even the UN is urging us to move away from animal-based diets, because reports show that meat and dairy agriculture accounts for 70% of global freshwater consumption, 38% of the total land use, and 19% of the world's greenhouse gas emissions.
My point behind all of this? At least vegans are trying, and the results of our efforts can help on a number of levels. So I ask you, what are you doing besides making excuses to justify your complacency and your perpetuation of harmful practices? Wake up.
We've always done it.
This one is simple. Arguments such as, we've been doing X, Y, or Z since the dawn of time, or similarly the never in history argument, are both logical fallacies. They're known as appeals to tradition. Just because we've historically done something doesn't mean that it's right or that we should continue to engage in that behavior. Man has historically done a lot of horrible things. Hell, slavery of other human beings was once one such example. It was even legal at one time to own slaves. Does that mean that slavery was right? That we should never have outlawed it? Besides,
we do not need meat to survive or thrive.
If that statement doesn't appeal to your beliefs, then take it up with the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics. That is their official stance, and they are one of the oldest and leading organizations of food and nutrition professionals. I do wish you luck with that, though. So yeah, perhaps we've historically consumed animal products, but since we do not need them, there is no point in continuing merely out of some archaic tradition. Thus, your logic is flawed, and your argument rendered completely invalid. And as a bonus, my thoughts on factory farming of animals versus family farming, since it was mentioned in one of the 2 comments. Both practices commodify sentient beings. While a family farm situation may seem friendlier, and perhaps it's less hostile, commodification is still commodification, especially when you consider that it is entirely unnecessary for our survival.
Killing is natural, the food chain.
Killing is natural, another logical fallacy, an appeal to nature. By that logic, perhaps we should just let murderers off the hook because it's natural to kill after all. They're just exercising a natural tendency, right? I wonder why that defense has never been used in court. Or is there a certain clarification to your sentiments? That's right. You argue that humans have the potential and capacity to do good deeds. I guess you missed some examples of good deeds in the non-human animal world.
Like a dog splashing water onto a suffocating fish. Or when a rat displays empathy in experiments by saving another trapped rat that is also a complete stranger.
Thus, all of your arguments are invalid. And the food chain, since you want to go there, where do we really, based on science, score on the food chain?
Apparently, on the same damn level as an anchovy or a pig.
So, sorry but not sorry to punch your flawed beliefs squarely in the balls. Ego crushed, especially when you consider that a lot of people consider pigs and fish to be food. But hey, that's science, bitch.
The good thing about science is that it's true whether or not you believe in it.
Alas, you are inaccurately elevating our status in nature. Your argument is flawed and is merely another selfish attempt to validate unnecessary and harmful practices.
Plants are living too.
Yes, plants are alive, but there is at least one major distinct biological difference between animals and plants. Can you guess what that is? I'll give you a second. Plants lack something integral that humans and other animals possess: a central nervous system. Plants are incapable of feeling or emotionally reacting to pain in the capacity that a sentient animal can. If you'd like an even lengthier explanation, I will link you to a paper in the description below titled Nociceptors and the Perception of Pain by Alan Fine, a PhD and professor of cell biology at the University of Connecticut Health Center. It's a bit too long for a toilet read, so I would recommend that you tuck yourself into bed with this one. Also, tell me more about how cutting or stabbing a plant is equivalent to cutting or stabbing a sentient animal, such as a chicken,
which demonstrate greater intellectual capacity than a 4-year-old human.
Furthermore, is your diet void of plant foods? Let's be honest here. I can assure you that vegans have less overall death on their hands than you do given your continued way of life.
Go ask a lion to stop eating meat.
This is just a silly argument on so many levels. So you're implying it's cool to eat meat because lions or bears eat meat. Do you justify and engage in everything that you see someone or something else doing? Groupthink much? When a lion rapes another lion, do you whip out your dick and go rape a human female? Veganism is a human construct, and as such, humans have no right to impose it on non-human animals, much like humans don't have a right to impose their dietary choices on non-human animals who don't get a choice to opt out of being someone's meal. Furthermore, lions and bears are examples of obligate carnivores. I just want to emphasize that they're obligate carnivores. Human beings are not obligate carnivores. That is basic biology. Refer back to the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics official stance that I had shared earlier to solidify that point. We do not need meat to survive or thrive. Thus, the consumption of such is purely for selfish reasons, such as convenience or pleasure, not necessity.
Humans are superior.
Now, this is a perfect example of speciesism.
Or defined as the idea that being human is a good enough reason for human animals to have greater moral rights than non-human animals.
Also bear in mind, superiority is relative. Even among fellow human beings, there is almost always someone who is bigger, faster, stronger, more skilled, more talented, more advanced, and or more intelligent. Does this automatically grant someone the privilege to exploit and hurt those possessing comparatively fewer or none of those attributes? Does this make it right? Should the strong not seek to protect others, like women, children, the crippled, and animals, and use their qualities for good, rather than acting like degenerate, lowbrow, self-indulgent barbarians? What if an alien species were to come to Earth with a hankering for some human flesh and milk, possessing far greater technology and far superior intellect, having traveled the expanse of interstellar space to arrive at their destination when we haven't even left our crib by comparison? By your logic, you'd resign and accept the fact that they are superior and it is in their right to use you as they see fit. Besides, you'd be helpless to do a fucking thing about it. You'd be their food, whether you like it or not, so bend over, Nancy. It's easy to make such claims of superiority when your life is currently not in jeopardy. From the safety of your keyboard and monitor, typing away, knowing that if someone were to try and hurt you, the police are just a dial away. So pop that one back, because you're clearly in dire need of a dose of perspective. Well, that's it, and as I've said, this is by no means a complete list, and I'd love to hear your thoughts and experiences, so do share in the comments below. Otherwise, till next time, my friends.